Oh, this club, I tell you now, this club, Manchester United. Fulham 0, Manchester United 1. Late Bruno Fernandes magic moments, whatever you want to call it. Oh, we got there in the end. An away victory for Manchester United in the Premier League. I mean, look, my reaction is going to be the same. My reaction is going to be the same as it was against Brentford, as it was against FC Copenhagen, which is, don't get me wrong, resilience, never give up, never say die, and appreciate the fighting spirit. You can't get over that. And I don't want to be, the celebration or the fun police that's saying, essentially you can't celebrate late winners and late moments and drama, because you should. That's football. It makes you feel euphoric and all that kind of stuff. But at the same time, today's late win, just as it did against Brentford, just as it did against Copenhagen, and also, I suppose, Sheffield United, because that winner came quite late on in that game, not as late as today or certainly against Brentford or anything like that. It cannot paper over the craps, not even the cracks, the craps, which was that it was not a good performance. Again, it was bad. But the positive is that whilst we're playing how we're playing at the moment, whilst it's as bad as it is at the moment, we're picking up results and we're getting wins, and by hook or by crook. Now, as we have said continuously throughout this season, this is not sustainable. If and when we play the bigger and better teams, we will lose, and the evidence is there. When we play a Manchester City, or when we play an Arsenal, or whatever it may be, we will. If we play like this, how we played today, we will lose. But today was deemed by some to be a must-win game for Erik ten Hag, and we won, and that's ultimately all that matters. Was Erik ten Hag without fault today? No, because some of the selections were strange, frankly, and we'll get to them individually as we go through. But Bruno Fernandes, who I thought, to be honest, until he scored the goal, was really poor, really, really poor, and particularly in the first half, and he was wasteful, and he was flailing his arms and doing all this kind of stuff. He was really, really poor. But when it matters, those moments, he stood up and he got his goal. As far as individuals, then we'll get to your calls. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. Of course, this is the full-time view. And if you are a member, you can call in, have your say. If you wish to become a member, first of all, links in the video description. It's also the pinned comment in the live chat. If you are a member, go over to the United View YouTube page, go to the community tab. The link is there exclusively only for members. So they're going to be calling in as well. Just quickly on individuals, then we will get to the calls. Where'd you start? Anthony, awful. Awful. I think it's a minor miracle that Anthony lasted 60 minutes today on the pitch. He was terrible. He was honestly shockingly bad. Credit to Facundo Palestri when he came on, because he came on and he plays a part in that goal. And to be honest, in comparison to Anthony, just by doing something, he did better than what Anthony did today. Shout out to Andre Onana as well. Makes 2 big saves. And I think a credit to him. A lot of people criticizing his performances, his goalkeeping ability, and even though we lost 3-0 against Man City, he did very, very well in that game too. Made 2 big saves today. Could have been totally different. So credit to him. Credit to Harry Maguire and Johnny Evans again today. Maguire, a concussed Harry Maguire is the preference of Erik ten Hag over Rafael Varane at the moment, to be honest with you. But again, he didn't do anything wrong today. He played very well. So a credit to him. Moving forward, I thought Christian Eriksen was really, really poor today. I thought he really struggled. Really, really struggles. So he came off as well. Credit to Scott McTominay, who I thought did, again, in that midfield, you're looking at those names that are meant to have more quality than him. He probably was the better out of a really poor bunch. Left-hand side, Alejandro Garnacho, of course, played over Marcus Rashford, who was injured. I thought he did okay, but like everyone else, he struggled. Rasmus Højlund got substituted late on in the game, and he was incredibly frustrated. And I don't blame him. The guy's been absolutely starved of any kind of goal-scoring opportunity. And I think I probably would have a similar reaction, to be honest with you, as well. Because what more? He's trying his best to get something going with with attacking and moving forward, but he just got no service whatsoever. So I really, really sympathize and feel bad for him, honestly. But there you go. Let's get to some of your calls. First of all, let's go to the super chat first. Nathaniel has said that ending has me ready for Crown Jewel hyped. Yes, for those fans, I'm going to be live straight after this. I'll be live just after 4 on my channel doing a Crown Jewel watch along and a post show. So be sure to join me there. What I might do actually, once this ends, I'll put a redirect there. I won't be live straight away, but you can go there, you can settle in, you can do all that kind of stuff. Speaking of which, let's go to our first call. Let's go to Lil Yo-Yo. What on earth is that?
It's Vince McMahon, isn't it?
It's Vince McMahon. What message are you trying to send?
The state of confusion, gasp. I don't know. That's the face I made watching that game today.
Yeah. At what points, or just in general?
That first half was me just looking at looking at my screen, saying, "What on earth am I watching? This is diabolical." I can't say anything too crazy about what I think of Anthony right now, because if I did, then I might be in trouble. But
Yes.
So I'm going to
you
keep
will be
things.
In trouble.
But to summarize, to keep it as PG as possible, I feel like I would like to fight Anthony right now because this performance is unacceptable. Facundo Pellistri changed the game for us today, in my opinion. He came on and he did so much more in 15 minutes than this Beyblade did the whole time he was on the pitch.
The question is then, when it comes with Anthony, so the next game's Copenhagen on Tuesday. Do you think he starts again, or do you think it's this time Facundo, or is Eric going to be like, no, Anthony starts, I believe in him, the same way that he's done with other players this season?
See, I don't know, man. I think Anthony has something over this manager, like he'll always start him. He has something over him personally. He needs. I mean, he tried. He critiqued him after the last game, even though that was such a light critique. He has started to say that he's not been performing to the standard I expected, and to have kept him on for that long, like you said earlier, I'm surprised. He should have subbed him up for half time because his performance was unacceptable. Anything he did, he lost the ball. His defending was shocking. Like, I'm just going to keep it at that because I don't want to go on a tangent.
But obviously, look, he was really, really poor, as were a lot of people today as well. Does the overall performance, a bit like I said a few minutes ago, obviously, we're happy we won, late winner, it's great. But is the feeling still the same as it was coming out of the Brentford game, the Copenhagen game, the Sheffield United game, when you go, look, we won, cool, but that still is miles from where we need to be?
I can see minor positives. I'd say defensively we were better than we were against City for sure. But yeah, like you said, Højlund was starved. Like he was getting bullied by Calvin Bassey, to be fair to him. Calvin Bassey is a unit, and Højlund could barely win any of those balls that were coming over to him. Like you said as well, Eriksen, it's probably one of his worst games he's played for us, I think. Even during his time at United, I've not seen a game as bad as this in a while. I'll give McTominay some credit. I think he was okay at best. He wasn't as bad as everyone else, but he wasn't fantastic. But yeah, overall, there's not a lot to go forward with. There's not a lot of optimism, but the fact that we can grind these sort of results is something I guess you could take going forward to the next game.
Yeah. I mean, I saw that TNT had given the man of the match to Bruno. Who would be your man of the match today? Do you agree with them, or is that just because he scored?
That's the only reason why he's man of the match. I think, personally, Maguire.
Yeah.
I think Maguire should have been man of the match. A man that was concussed, because that's literally what he was. He's a concussed centre-back. To perform like that today, to basically won nearly all his duels today, I think he had a very good performance, which says a lot about our standards today.
What do you think that says about? What do you think that says about the Raphael Varane situation? Because Varane once again on the bench. Now I know Ten Hag last weekend said tactical. I don't like playing Maguire left centre back. Lindelof was out today, so maybe he thought, look, I've got to just stick with what I've got. Do you think there's something bigger there? I know that he was ill this week too, but do you feel like there's something more? I mean, like you said, he is preferring at this point a concussed Harry Maguire and a mid-30s Johnny Evans over Raphael Varane. Is that something to look into?
I'm sure they had their disagreements behind the scenes, but I don't think it's as crazy as everyone has made it. I think the manager is more or less rotating his squad using the players that have been playing consistently, in his opinion, who should start. Of course, I believe Raphael Varane should be starting, and we must remember Rafa Varane does get injured a lot. So I think using him sparingly is probably the best way going forward. But if you know he's fit, he should be starting.
Yeah. I mean, finally, before we get to another call, Tuesday, Copenhagen. Will we win that one? Because after all that drama against the Copenhagen at home, if we don't win that, we're basically out once again. What's your prediction?
We're going to win ugly. It's going to be a horrible game to watch. It'll be like today. But I think somehow we'll sneak it. Because, to be fair, Copenhagen can get at us. But if they've actually read the sign, like McTominay and Fernandes said, and they actually took that message on board, so the sign that was up before the game from the fans.
That made me laugh when they said that after the game. They went, "Yeah, we saw the sign, we took the message on board." You go, "You didn't. You didn't."
Yeah, exactly. They're chatting rubbish.
90 minutes, you were shocking. Like literally, Bruno scored something like kind of out of nothing, and it was poor defensively from Fulham as well. So let's not give it. What did the banner actually say once again? I want to make sure I get this completely right.
Yeah.
I want to make sure I get this completely right. Where is the banner once again? Play like you mean it. I'm going to put a poll in the chat very shortly. Did Manchester United play like they meant it? And I'm interested to know the answer. What would you say to that? Did Man United play like they meant it?
I think they did, but we're just crap.
So that's even worse, isn't it? They did. But that's the best that they can do. Oh,
and I also think they're being asked to play a certain way, and it doesn't help that basically teams can press us really high. Any little mistake can have the opposing team just hit us on the break, and we have literally Maguire and Evans against whoever they counter us against. So like today, like Willian had several chances. Harry Wilson, whoever was up front for them, I don't know. They changed forwards all the time, so I was so rattled throughout the game. I didn't remember half the plays Fulham had. But oh well, we got the 3 points. We're not a laughing stock, Owen.
Exactly. Well, for
our weekend is good. No. Well, we're having a good weekend.
I've got a Vince McMahon talking to me now that, to be honest, looks nothing like that anymore. That's old Vince McMahon. Now he looks like sort of Walt Disney, unfrozen, whatever.
He needs a bit more Botox on him and that weird mustache he's got.
Yeah, he needs more mustache and he needs more hair dye. Oh my god, I believe it. Big up Lil Yo-Yo. Let's get to this poll. I want to put this poll in the chat because the banner was play like you mean it. So the question then becomes, did Manchester United play like they meant it? Interesting to know your response to that one. Just by 3 points, is that playing like they meant it or not? You can let me know about that in the chat as well. We've got over 500 people watching, so if you haven't already, be sure to click the like button as well. Where are we going to go to next? Let's go to Amanor. Amanor, what were your thoughts on that? I mean, a boring game. You've been known to have a snooze from time to time. Did that send you asleep, or are you fully awake now?
No, hi, Owen. I have a confession to make. In the first half, I did snore away for about 2 minutes.
There you go. I mean, you're not alone this time. I think it might have happened to a lot of people, to be honest with you. What did you make of it all, though?
All right. I'll talk about the players, but performance-wise, we are a struggling team. I mean, I still can't see the transition. For example, from the back, those penetrations balls into midfield, and how we build up our attacks. I'm really concerned in terms of how we actually build up our attack play. It was just non-existent. Bruno in the first half. We'll talk about Anthony in a second, but the attack wasn't there. And the shining light was, I thought Andrea Nana played well, but like you mentioned, the defense overall, granted, did okay, but that's probably because Fulham didn't have any forwards really. If they had Mitrovic, I wonder whether the defense would have been as comfortable as that. So
Yeah.
I'm glad we won. The win was the most important thing because we just need to get some points on the board. But for me, when I'm looking at the performance, does that performance fill me with confidence going forward, or a sign that things are improving? I'm not so sure. It was like Ollie, when Ollie got beat 4-0, was it 5-0 at Liverpool at home, and then City at home 2-0, and then went away
Yeah.
to Tottenham 3-2. I think it was the performance, or 3-0.
Yeah. I think it was 3-0 or something like
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
wasn't it?
3-0.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just think, okay, it's a win, but the performance wasn't there. I'm getting similar vibes here. Not as bad as that, but the one thing I would say a win is that today I was looking to see whether the players were playing for the manager, and I think they are. So I was
Yeah.
concerned actually some of these players actually down tools and actually not playing for the manager or just look lost. Yeah, I know the performance was there, but most of the players there were playing for the manager. So overall, lots of still things for improving. The performance wasn't 100% satisfactory, but the main thing was the win, just to get some momentum going for the Copenhagen game, which is on the Wednesday. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
on the performance.
No, I agree. It's interesting, actually. You mentioned that with the defense, because even though, and it seems crazy to say, like when you lose to 3-0 against City or what have you, but you look at this sort of defense that they've put together. It's never been the worst part of the team, despite all of
No,
the
no,
injuries. It's not been the worst
no.
part of the team. It's been the midfield. It's been the attackers, and again, that's what it was like today. I mean, you mentioned Anthony there. What did you make of his performance?
Yeah, I you know what frustrates me most? It's not. I'm going to talk about Anthony in a second, but what frustrates me most in this situation on the right side, if Sancho kept his mouth shut, he would have been playing now 10 games in a row. And there's a quality player in Sancho, but that I don't want to digress. But with Anthony, first half he was doing flicks. I remember he was trying to do flick passes. He wouldn't take on players down the wing. He cut in. Yeah, I'm with little Oli. If you ask me to start explaining how I feel about Anthony, I'd probably start swearing. I don't want to do that. And it just goes
Mm.
to show when Palestri came on. I don't think Palestri is our solution to the right hand side. He just doesn't. He doesn't have the physicality, but what he does offer is he does the basics right. He'll take on a player, try to cross it in, and it was through his fumbling that led to the goal.
Yeah, yeah. It wasn't like skill or
you know,
quality or anything
no,
like that. It was fumbling, like I said, and bad defending,
yeah.
realistically as well.
Well, but it just goes to show how poor Anthony must have been for Palestri, who's not as talented as him. He fumbled along and managed to create something for Bruno, and with Bruno's skills. So yeah, Anthony was poor. I've got to be honest though. I mean, I want to talk about Harry Maguire and Wan-Bissaka. Harry Maguire, he gets a
Yeah,
lot of abuse from fans, and rightly so. Sometimes not abuse, but he gets a lot of constructive criticism. And when he played well, we've got to give him credit. He was concussed and he played well. I didn't see any faults in his games, to be honest with you.
yeah,
Well done to Harry Maguire. But Wan-Bissaka made such a difference. I just thought coming into
yeah,
that defense
yeah,
as well. He just,
yeah.
I just didn't feel worried. I know it sounds
Mm,
bizarre, but I didn't feel worried when he was on the ball. I felt a bit more calm the way United defended with Wan-Bissaka playing on the right hand side and Dalot playing on the left hand side. Dallas still gives me a bit of nervousness in terms of the way he plays, but it just seems to be more balanced. And I wonder when Luke Shaw comes back, whether that I feel we'll play better going forward. I don't know,
mm,
but Bruno Fernandes, I know he scored the goal and he scored the winner, and yes, he was awarded the man of the match, but his performance and Eriksen's performance were both poor. Both of
yeah.
them were really poor. They're not doing the triangles or building up play. They were just not there. And that's
Yeah,
worrying.
Ericsson had a moment in the second half where it was like a 5-minute period, and he gave the ball away on like 3 consecutive occasions, and like
Yeah,
it felt like he just again. I posted it on social media. The amount of times we gave the ball away was staggering, really, at
yeah,
points. And again, it's bereft of quality. But I agree with you with Harry Maguire. I think not only was he defensively good, but it was one occasion, I think again in the second half, where he stepped forward with the ball, did a long ball over to the left, and I think there was like miscommunication between, I don't know, Garnacho or it might have been Bruno as well. And I thought, actually, well, that's a good ball there by
yeah.
Harry Maguire. And so I agree with you. I don't think you can fault him at all. Well, finally, what do you make of that situation though, with Maguire and Evans starting and Varane being on the bench? Ten Hag said tactical. He was ill this week. Some people said there's a bit more to it. Do you think there's any room for concern surrounding that whole situation?
Might be. I think there's something going on between Varane, Ten Hag, and Casemiro because Casemiro and Ten Hag, Casemiro and Varane are close because of extra Madrid plays, and they may, Varane may feel that he's not being appreciating a certain way, or Varane may feel actually the way you're disrespecting Casemiro is impacting him. I think there's a little bit of that, but actually that's being cynical. But actually, I think it's more tactical. And the reason why I'm saying this is like we've got Copenhagen on Wednesday, and I think Varane will play in that game for Johnny Evans or Maguire. One of those two will drop for Varane. And I thought, and we know how injury prone Varane is. So, to be fair to Ten Hag, I think there's elements of protecting him because we just can't rely on his body to perform like 2 games in a week. So it's for that reason. Yeah.
Yeah, no, totally agree. Big up Amanov calling in as always, long-time member and supporter. God, I nearly choked on United View. Do you know what it is as well? I decided before, this is a genuinely true story, yeah. When we scored, I was eating porridge. I was eating porridge, and then I had to literally, I had my little bowl like that, and I was running around. Oh, it was tremendous. You wish you could have seen it. It was a whole scene. How many likes are we currently on at the moment? Still less than 100. So if you haven't already, click the like button. What's the poll saying at the moment? Over 150 votes. The question was, did Manchester United play like they meant it, which is in reference to the banner, which said, play like you mean it. And it's close, actually, in fairness. It's close. 54% say no. 46% say yes. So, interesting. Get your votes in on that one. Let's go to another call. Let's go to Pav. Pav, we spoke after the game on whenever it was Wednesday. It was tough. Did you see any reactions there, or is this just more papering over the cracks?
Mate, we stunk the place out again. I'm not going to lie, yeah, I fell asleep for about 10, 15 minutes in that first half. And then I woke up and the first thing I saw was like the commentator saying, oh, Maguire's coming off again. I was like, what's going on here? And then I had to ask someone in WhatsApp what's up, and they were saying he's concussed. And I'm like, what's he doing on the pitch still? If it's he's coming off again, and I don't know what's going on with like the club and what these lot are doing. Like, if he's concussed, why is he on? Even though he had a decent performance, he was coming on and he was still doing what he needed to do. I was kind of surprised Varane weren't starting because all I heard from Eric Ten Hag's quotes was that he's ready and he'll play, and he basically embarrassed him by bringing him on for 2 minutes at the end of the game. Why did you do that? And overall, the performance, like I said, it stunk. It was an individual brilliance, like if you want to call it a brilliance of.
That's the weird thing, isn't it? You can't even really call it a sort of brilliance.
No, that's what I mean. I don't know what to call it. Like,
no,
it's just he just took a shot and it went in because we can't create anything at the minute. And I've said it many times. These players play like they have no chemistry between each other. They play like they're playing for themselves. Anthony as well. I really don't know like what's up with that Sky, bruv. Like, you've come back. The players, I'll be honest, the fans have been backing him like when he's on the pitch, but you're showing nothing. And even Pellistri, like I hear people saying it was a little bit better, but it's just a different shade of crap, in my opinion. I don't think he's good enough to be at this club either. Obviously, we haven't seen Ahmad. We've got 4 right wingers at this club, and like none of them are probably good enough to be here. So you might as well just play either Garnacho or Rashford on the right wing. All they got to do is whip the ball in. You're right footed, just keep whipping the ball in. At some point, Højlund needs to score a goal. Like, I feel sorry for him. Because I said in the summer, I was like, we needed someone like Harry Kane who could create chances for other people and still get a goal here and then. Like, Højlund can't do that. He can't create the chance for himself. He's young. Like, there's no one about in this team who's going to help him evolve. Clearly, the manager can't get the best out of some of these players, or majority of these players. And then you see him coming off. He just looks angry as hell. Like, the man
and you don't blame him.
Single goal in the league.
And you don't blame him because, like you said, people are talking about saying, "Oh, you got bought for 70 million, what have you," and you're not scoring goals. But it's not for the want of trying. You know what I mean? Remember, like last year when it was like
who's creating anything.
Remember last season when it was like Weghorst, and we were saying, "Oh, the problem is like because Weghorst was getting chances made for him last season. He was just so terrible that he couldn't score them." That's disappeared.
No, the chances they were making for him, like they were poor. But then as soon as he come off, you'd have players crossing the ball in to players who are like 5 foot tall. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it makes no sense. Like, today's victory for me is like me finding a tenner outside. I'll be happy for a minute, and then next day is back to normal business. That's what this victory is like for me. It's finding a
Well,
£10 note outside.
And to continue with that analogy, that's like you found that 3 or 4 times and you go, this is weird. But eventually you go, I can't keep finding tenors and pay my rent, basically. Eventually, I'm going to be broke.
For a fact, next game, it could be back to like business as what's happening in the previous games. Like Copenhagen midweek, mate. We're the underdogs because Copenhagen are going to be up for it. They've got a chance to finish second. If they beat us and they can beat Galatasaray and get a result out of them, they're in a good position. So we can't just say we should batter them because we know they're going to be up for it. As we saw what happened at Old Trafford, we were lucky to go out of something in that game. So I don't know. I'm not going to predict what might happen on Wednesday because I don't want people to get onto me. I'm just going to leave it as that.
But also as well, we're entirely unpredictable in that aspect too. I mean, I guess we could easily, as you mentioned, we could easily go to Copenhagen. It's away. It's in the Champions League. They're good. It's not as if they're terrible. They're good football inside. They bopped us off the park for 15 minutes at Old Trafford. So they could completely run through us, or you could see what we saw today, which is you go, well, it's not great, but as long as you're in the game, we've got players that can pull something out of nothing. Because I was thinking as the game went on, and it's like 65 minutes, 70 minutes, I thought, oh, I mean, we haven't conceded yet.
What frustrated me the most wasn't even like, obviously we know the tactics and stuff, nothing's working at the minute. I kept seeing the ball, Evans to Maguire, Maguire to Evans, Evans to Maguire, back to Evans, back to Onana, long ball, back to Fulham. But that's what I kept seeing like majority of the time in the game. I was like, what are we doing? Like, you're passing out at the back and to give it to the keeper, and the keeper's just long balling it to nobody. Because no one can actually make a play from the back to pass the midfield of Fulham or to get behind their defense. It's like, what are we doing? Like, it made no sense to me. And like, I was just like we're at the bottom of the barrel when it comes to like style of play, trying to create something. And it's going to take one of these sort of goals like we saw today just to get over the line. And it might have to be the same thing again on Wednesday, but I don't know.
Do you think because people have pointed out to the injuries, and this was something Ten Hag said yesterday. He said like he didn't want to make excuses, but he said, you know, my tactics or philosophy, it's 11 players attacking, 11 players defending. Do you think when we saw Wan-Bissaka back today, do you think when we see like a Luke Shaw come back, and maybe if he can play a defense that's Shaw, Lindelof, Varane, Wan-Bissaka, does a style of play start to emerge there, or is it bigger at this point than that?
No, I think even if you get Luke Shaw back, it's not going to change the fact that the midfield's crap. And now that Casemiro's out till January, we're still going to get overrun in midfield. The attackers, you can sit there, press as you march, but a lot of these teams that we're coming up against, you see a lot of teams nowadays in the Premier League, they're pretty press resistant. So it doesn't matter what you do, defend from the front. The midfield is just going to keep getting bypassed. Like, I don't know, like Luke Shaw coming back doesn't really change a thing for me. We're never going to have a team full of like injury-free players. There's always going to be injuries. So, in my opinion, we need signings in January. We need like 2 or 3 signings in January to kind of change the way we're playing. But whether this manager is going to get any more money for it, I don't know.
Yeah.
We're going to miss. You're going to notice that a lot of people have criticised Casemiro. We're going to miss him now. So.
Yeah, I mean, finally, just before we wrap up, Pav, what did you make of the VAR decision? I mean, you know, I don't know if I've ever. I'm not sure I've ever seen a subjective offside VAR decision, which essentially is they're saying Maguire's off, but we're going to leave it to the ref to determine whether or not he thinks that he's interfering in play or something like that. I mean,
if the VAR is telling him it's offside, why are you telling the ref to go to
exactly?
The monitor?
Exactly.
The only thing I can say is remember last year when we scored that goal against City when Bruno was running,
he's interfering,
running towards a ball, and then Bruno scored. I can't remember which way around it was. And they were saying that like you're attempting to play, but then you didn't. But it's because Maguire's attempted to play and he was in an offside position. They're saying it's offside, but it made no sense sending the referee to the monitor when you're telling him it's offside. So why are you asking him to go check again?
Yeah, exactly. I don't get it.
We already know the standards of refereeing and the VAR, man. They're like, it's not even like the VAR, it's the people who run it. Like their standards are low. They ain't got a clue what they're doing either. So when it comes to like people start asking me about referee decisions or VAR, it's kind of pointless because we know they're thick as fuck. Like, sorry with the language, but they're thick.
That's true.
So
yeah, it's true. It's true. Big up, Pat, for calling in as always. One of KG's Reckless delegates as well. So be sure to check him out when he's on KG's channel too. A couple of super chats here. K Flow's the latest member of the UV Members Club. Welcome to K Flow. And also with a super chat from K. Look at this, double bubble. If Kane were in this team, fans will say he's finished. We don't create any chances. I tell you what, the idea of Harry Kane being in this Man United side is actually wild. I think, because he would be stifled, but he would. The difference is between. I mean, we're getting really in the weeds of hypotheticals here, aren't we? But if he were in this side, like Harry Kane is one of those strikers that he drops deep and then starts becoming a bit almost like a 10. He's like a false 10, essentially. He drops so deep and starts sort of playing it around and all that kind of stuff. He'd be doing that all the time. He'd never be in the box, ever, because he'd be trying to create. He'd probably have more assists than goals. But I do really sympathize for Rasmus Højlund. I do, because, he cut a very frustrated figure when he came off, and as I said, I don't blame him. Why wouldn't you not be frustrated when you've had nothing created for you the entirety of that game? And then people are judging you based off scoring goals, which of course you're a striker, but if they're not making chances for you, then what are you to do realistically? So I don't blame him for being a frustrated figure at all. Let's go to another call. Let's go to Game Fanatic. What did you make of that? 3 points, but is there still cause for concern?
Yes, of course there's cause for concern. This is every time I've been on this show, I think it's been like every win we've been on, it's like, a one-goaler, pretty much. Like, how can anyone be... You can be satisfied that we won, but how can you be happy with the performance? Like, have we had a win? When was the last win where one of our attackers was the man of the match?
Gosh, I don't even know. I don't remember the last time. When did we last win a Premier League match where, like you said, it was the strikers that scored the goals or the attacking players that scored the goal?
We're not even having it's hard to even remember the last time we had a win where the attacker even scored a goal. Like all our goals have come from midfield.
It's true. I'm just trying to. I'm literally racking my brain.
I'll speak. Holland had that man of the match performance that we lost that game against Galatasaray.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and I'm just thinking just strictly Premier League because of today. I genuinely can't think about that. I mean, it's wild. It's wild. What did you make of the overall performance though? Lots of people saying, look, it's important to get the win, but still, it's the same.
I don't recall us testing their keeper that much. I think Onana had those flashy saves and stuff. Onana felt like he was busier than their keeper.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
The ball goes to Anthony, and it's just you pretty much already given the ball back to the other team, or it's just being sent back into midfield. He doesn't do anything with it. Garnacho tries a bit, but I feel like him and Holland have no synergy. They're not working together at all. And then Holland's trying his best. He's bulldozing his way through to try and make himself a chance because Anthony's not going to make him a chance. And the cost is just not coming for him.
What did you think of Anthony's performance today? Got a lot of criticism in the chat. A lot of people, a lot of callers so far criticizing Anthony. A lot of criticism on social media. What did you make of his performance?
I think that he's been ever since he had that one game where he did that his 360 roulette and then failed a pass. He has never been the same. He's he has no flair. He has no pace. He's rarely taking on players properly. He just runs. He doesn't do any skill moves. He doesn't try to beat the player with skill. He just tries to beat him with pace, which he doesn't seem to have enough of. And now it's just you just know that he'll cut in like a discount Robin and try to shoot, but except he doesn't have the finishing of a Robin.
No, and also as well, he just doesn't create anything as well. I mean, we're talking about Højlund and how bad you feel for him. He must be looking to his right all the time, being like, "Come on, so please something." And where do you sit on Facundo Palestri? Because quite a few people have pointed out thus far that it's not a case of Facundo Pellistri being great. It's just the fact that he came on and just did basics. I mean, just literally basics. Tried to get the ball into the box and tried to just, run at some players. Is that really how low the bar is for that right-hand side at the moment?
It's hard. So I think most people would probably be wanting him to be given a start. And people were saying, I'll give him a run of games. But that's not how football works. You can't just automatically guarantee someone a run of games. If you do badly, you don't get to start. But the thing is, I feel like he might be the right side of Garnacho, of our left wing, as in everyone wants Garnacho to start over Rashford, Rashford to be dropped. But Garnacho doesn't explode as much as he does when he starts a game instead of coming from the bench. And then, so I feel like even if he does start, he should start. But that doesn't necessarily mean he's gonna take off. He's gonna get you know what I mean? Football is very complicated. People be give him a run of games and stuff, but what if he does shit the first 2 games and then what? Are you gonna keep starting him? Are you gonna keep just make him undroppable for a few sets of games? There's no guarantee in football. There's no guarantee he's gonna come onto it and keep and just go up in form. The more he's
I think this is what people point out when it comes to say Facundo and Anthony and whoever. Maybe this is the Jadon Sancho point, is that if Facundo Pellistri started today and played as bad as Anthony did, he wouldn't play for 6 weeks or something like that. And I just don't know. I remember at the time, I just can't remember what's the Twitter account. It's that European lad. He's an Ajax fan. And when we bought Anthony from Ajax for 100 million euros, he was the thing he said was I can't believe United are paying for 100 million euros for Anthony. We were cry about it. And they were no, we can't believe it. Now they must be we can't believe it. We're oh my God, what have we done with that? It's crazy. Finally, before we go to another call, what did you make of Harry Maguire and Johnny Evans as the partnership as centre-back today? They've been our most consistent centre-back partnership. I mean, what does that say? And what did you make of the performance of Maguire?
Maguire did well. I think he was a bit solid. I feel I get a bit scared whenever let's say something the commentator said during the game was that Manchester United are most vulnerable when they have more majority of possession of the ball, and they turn it over because we get caught on the corner. I admit I was pleasantly surprised to see they would try to run down the wing past Wan-Bissaka or Dalot whenever they pushed up. And then you're thinking Maguire one-on-one with the attacker on the wing, and you're oh no, are they just going to easily beat him? Flashbacks to that one meme of that backwards tackle he tried to do last season. But our defense performed well. I guess Onana had to be on his toes a bit to make the saves. But I want to point out, people keep saying, "Oh, we're in an injury crisis." Right now, our teams. Most of our injuries are from a defense, but our issues are up front.
Yeah.
So how can you keep blaming it on trying to make excuses with an injury crisis when our issues are not scoring? We've scored 9 goals or something in the Premier League or something, I think.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's true. Big up Game Fanatic for calling in. Good call. And again, that's something that keeps getting pointed out, and it is true that I know that Ten Hag and other people say, oh, you start from the back, you build from the back, you attack from the back. So that's part of it. That's why I think Ten Hag even said that himself. We covered it late last night. That when you've got so many injuries and changes to the defense, it leaves the midfield exposed and all that kind of stuff. But as many people point out, that it's not necessarily defensively that we're actually having problems. It's in the midfield. It's what is, realistically, our strongest front three on paper in Ten Hag's eyes, right? Which is Rashford, Højlund, and Anthony. I know Rashford didn't play today, but there have been moments this season where it's been Rashford, Anthony, Højlund, Bruno behind in the 10, and still there's no real creativity there, certainly. King in the Indies says, and I think this is very accurate actually, Facundo existed and that was enough to outperform Anthony. And it's true. That is literally what Facundo came on and did. And maybe that puts down a little bit what Pellistri did when he came on, because he did show some energy and all that kind of stuff. But that is literally how low the bar was in that specific position today, which was come on, just play football. just play football, and you will be better than this guy who is dropping a 0. So if you literally pass the ball or anything like that, you will get a 1, and it will be better than what Anthony was doing today. It's crazy. It really is. Let's double check on the likes, then we'll get to another call. We've got 127 likes. So if you haven't already, click the like button and see if we can get it to 150 as well. I see people putting the scores in the chat as well from the 3 o'clocks too. Where does that even put us in the table, actually? Let's have a quick check. I'm kind of just forgotten. You know, when you get into kind of the... at the moment, I'm sort of into the routine of not looking at the table because it's bad. We're in 6th. Oh, look at this. European football. Here we come. While I'm at it, I'll play the Europa League theme song. Look at this. Look at where we're going for next season. Oh, is it even still on here? Oh, actually, I'm not going to play it because I never want to hear that song ever again, particularly after last season. And actually, it could be on the horizon fairly quickly. So I don't know. Maybe I won't. Up to 6th though. Look at this. Everyone let's just take a moment. Let's just take a moment to sort of bask in that sort of 6th glory. Look at that. Oh, I feel refreshed. I feel rejuvenated. 6th in the Premier League. Oh, look at us. People below us. Newcastle, they haven't played yet. But Brighton, they're losing at the moment. Hey, Ten Hag with more points than De Zerbi. Oh, wow. Look at this. Yeah, 6th. Let's have a celebration, guys. We're up to 6th in the Premier League. Oh, it's magnificent. Let's go to another call. Let's go to, I've been watching KG's channel, yeah. Because KG's, lots of people call into KG's channel that call into this show as well. So I watch and I do my scouting. It's like an affiliate club, you know, in football. So I check in and I always make sure. And there's been a bit of a journey with this person. So I'm hoping that, Sasha, you're going to bring in some Kenergy. Commence.
Oh.
I don't want to hear the song ever again, Sasha. I don't want to hear the song ever again. Yeah, never again. Never again. Tell me the story behind the picture of Tom Robbie, because we're not in the position to be really mocking realistically.
You know, yeah. So basically, the story was like, so I made this video about Arsenal's reaction to losing to West Ham. I just did a shameless reaction to it. So that's my story behind it.
Even though we lost that night, even
I
worse.
know, but I just did an absolute therapy laugh, you know. It's called a therapy, you know.
I see. What did you make of the result today?
Oh yeah. Yeah, you know what? Like for me personally, all it mattered it was 3 points, and I'm genuinely relieved it was a 3 points. I knew it was going to be a late winner. Yes, we weren't that great in terms of final third just yet, but like let's just hope to keep we have to keep going for 3 points after 3 points after 3 points. But yeah, I don't know, man. But like the next couple of games, it's going to be must wins, especially like Copenhagen away. You have Galatasaray away. That's a bloody must win. Yeah. That's a bloody must win.
Absolutely.
And,
I saw in the comments as well that you said that that Palestri's good. You're a fan of Palestri.
Yes.
So do you think there's a future for him? Do you think, how did you rate his performance when he came on as opposed to Anthony today?
Absolutely. Every single time I saw him off the bench, he's just a creative spark on this attack. Much better than Anthony. Much better. Much threatening on the right hand side. And Palestri got an assist that can keep humbling Flex forever. Oh, Flex was saying, oh, he ain't it. What now? He just let you got an assist.
But do we have to be careful with this though when it comes to, you know, people like Facundo Palestri, because they come on and I mean, look, it's an assist, but again, the bar's very, very low here, so we can't get too carried away, can we?
Yes, I know, but like for me personally, he just needs like a run of games for me personally. So So according to that, we can judge him. Yeah,
Mm.
because most of the time I just see him like he's on the bench, and he usually comes off from from the second half. Yeah. So I'm generally happy to see him, to see, and you know what, like his future at Manu, it should be bright for me. I'm just convinced so far with him.
What did you think of Harry Maguire today? The sort of
Oh,
back four
Maguire,
was in.
Maguire.
Well,
Oh,
go ahead, Maguire. What did you think?
oh my days. Maguire just absolutely silenced my critics. All these years we have criticized him, we have slagged him off. We just he's like the person who has got such a he just got so much of negative feedbacks from the social medias, and he just got slated, and like like oh my days. Maguire for me, what a fantastic job he has done so far. Him and Johnny Evans, they're actually looking good so far at the back. I'm not gonna lie.
Does it speak to a bigger issue though, that it's
Yeah,
2023 and
yeah,
that's our centre back partnership?
I know, but so far it's looking good, you know. I've seen it so far, but yes, in January and in the summer, yes, we do need to get a center backs. I do agree with, we do need like a young center backs in our long term rebuild.
Yeah, I agree. Finally, you mentioned Copenhagen. Are we going to win that game? Is this going to be the beginning of a winning streak for Manchester United, do you think?
Listen, Owen, man, like for me personally, at this stage of time, I've literally kept my expectations really low at this moment of time. So it's just like hope and pray. Just pray to God, you know, like just like hope for 3 points, and
Literally, that's it. For every match, mate.
yeah,
That's what we
yeah,
gotta do.
yes. It's basically every fans whenever we just we just watch our games, we just like uh edge on our seats. So
Mhm. That's what
so
we got to
that's
do.
probably it
That's
for
what we
me.
do. That's what we got to do. We just got to believe. Just got to believe. Always. There you go. Perfect. Believe. And it was perfect. It was Don Robbie with the picture as well. So there you go. What people are saying in the chat at the moment as well. King of the Indies says, yes, sir, we need to be careful, referring to Facundo Palestri. Conrad says, immense away fans. Actually, you tell you what, Conrad, that's a great comment, because the Man United away fans are always the best away fans. They are. And that's not even just Man United, but they are. And they have to put up with some shit when it comes to performances, no doubt about it. And they were unbelievable today. I mean, you know, they put up the banner saying "play like you mean it," and watch really 88 minutes of them not doing that. But they were with him the whole game, and they always are. They always are. The away support at Manchester United is just unbelievable. It's absolutely fantastic. By the way, the poll in the chat, which was, did Manchester United play like they meant it, referring to that banner, we've got over 400 votes. 400 votes, only 138 likes. Make it make sense. Like Manchester United winning when they're playing terribly. Make it make sense. And 44% say yes, 56% say no as well. So if you haven't already, get involved with that vote as well. Let's go to another call. Charles, you were very angry on Wednesday. You were very much firmly Erik ten Hag out. I'm not going to ask you if you've changed your mind, because I doubt that you have. But focusing on today's game, what did you make of that? Is it more of the same for you in terms of not playing well, but just getting over the line? Stunned into silence by Charles there. Stunned. I've never known Charles be so silent. I've never know him. I think maybe he's finally been broken, Charles, you know, maybe. Oh, did he come back at the end? Charles, are you back?
Yeah, I'm right here.
There you go. I thought we'd lost you for a second there. What are your thoughts on the game?
It was poor. It was like two bottom half teams. I think I said it in the chat over in the match view. It was like watching two bottom half teams play. There was no quality. And then, as usual, we get a moment and we scrape something.
But is it the same where it's, it's a case of, papering over the cracks? A bit like, look, I think both of us came on here after we played Copenhagen and Onana makes a late penalty save, or we beat Brentford and we scored late goals there, and we said, happy to win, obviously. Yeah, but if we had played a City, Spurs, Arsenal, Liverpool, Villa today, this could have been very, very different.
I just put it like this. Do you feel any different than when we beat Burnley 1-0?
No, I don't. And I know, look, we're sixth in the table and people will point to that, but that is when one, when they say the table never lies.
It's lying.
It can.
It's a liar. That's a liar. Because right now, I don't think I have any confidence going to Copenhagen. I feel like it will be just like this game. It's going to be ugly. But due to the quality of our players that people seem to think are all rubbish, we're going to scrape through. And that's just what it's going to be. I don't understand why we still can't see a style of play. Nobody has been able to tell me why we can't see a style of play. I say, get this manager out. Nobody tells me why this guy shouldn't be brought out. All they tell me is the board is bad.
Who would you replace him with then? Who would you replace him with?
That's not my job. I'll put it this way. When Mourinho was sacked, was Ten Hag on anyone's mind? No. We went and got Oli, who nobody ever thought we were going to get.
I mean, in fairness, that season. So when Jose Mourinho got sacked, what was that? That was 2018. So he was just about to embark on the biggest moment of his career, which was getting Ajax to a Champions League semi-final, was it not?
Okay, then under Oli, was he anybody's option when Oli was failing? We were all saying Zidane, we were all saying Pochettino.
He was one of the options because he got the job.
That was towards the end. Like, you remember when Oli was first pulling off the getting by games? It was Pochettino. Pochettino waited for this job for time. Don't forget, it was always Poch, and then we were linked to Zidane for a little minute. There was little rumors of Nagelsmann. Erik ten Hag came out the very last minute. He wasn't on anybody's mind. Like, instantly, we want ETH. He just showed up,
and that makes him bad.
No, I didn't say he's bad. He isn't a bad manager. He just doesn't suit us. He might suit somebody else, just not us. We need somebody that can work in spite of the Glazers, because those guys, they are here to stay. Nothing we can do to make them leave.
But then this is a dangerous precedent then, Charles, because then you get people that come in and they say they're Glazer puppets and they're Glazer sympathizers. So you're saying that you want a Glazer sympathizer. And also as well, Charles, I mean, in fairness, I think if you're going to come on and say, I get rid of the manager, then you have to offer an alternative, because we criticize the club for having no plan. If they just sacked Erik ten Hag with having nobody else in mind, isn't that the actual definition of having no plan?
Yeah, but I'm not the club though. I'm a fan. I don't need
such a cop out, Charles.
No,
that is such a cop out.
No, but do you know what a cop out is? Sack 10 Hag. Okay, who are you going to hire? You're not even telling me why I shouldn't sack him. You're just asking me who.
I'll tell you.
Like Hansi Flick is available for example. Now what?
Okay.
What's the
then
argument?
I'll say that. Then I'll give you my response, which is what I've been saying all week, is if Hansi Flick came in, he would be in the same situation as Erik ten Hag in 12 months, 18 months time. Well, there is no point. There might be a short-term lift, but in the same time, 18 months time, we'll be having the same conversation going, what's happened to the style of play? How he didn't get his first options. This club this club that. We got to break the cycle.
Any argument about first options is just dead. And also on the Hansi Flick thing, we don't know if he's going to be here in 18 months or not. The same thing, when we signed Erik ten Hag, everybody was Ten Hag in. We thought this guy was the guy that's going to save us. Nobody in their right mind thought that 18 months later we would be as bad as we are right now. We can't assume that if we get another manager, it is going to be 18 months again, because we have never done that. No matter who we have gotten as a manager, we never assume the worst. So why are we going to assume the worst now? This guy is showing clearly that
we didn't assume the worst.
Job. Like, players are looking upset, Owen.
we didn't assume the worst is because, again, there wasn't the sample size that there is now. We've gone through 4 different managers. There's no evidence to point that I'll be any different. And if you want to talk about Hansi Flick, granted, great success at Bayern Munich, incredible success at Bayern Munich. He lost his job with the national team of Germany, and they're hosting the Euros. Going into the Euros, they got rid of him because they didn't want to be embarrassed going into a European tournament in his home country. Louis van Gaal, he's had great success in his career, failed at United. Jose Mourinho had huge success in his career, failed at United. So we got to stop even looking at that as saying, oh, they'll bring that to Manchester United, because no one has. And again, this is the point. We've got to stop doing this thing as fans, in my opinion, where suddenly we give these players and we give these owners and executives a free pass, where suddenly when it gets bad, it's just because of the manager. Because all we've seen this season is not just because of the manager.
Owen, nobody's giving the Glazers a free pass. Nobody's coming out to say, oh, the Glazers are doing...
that can
No, because every time we sack a manager, we still sit here and say these are bad owners. Like, we know what their problems are. And another thing we know is they are here to stay. Anything we want to say, they leave when they want to leave. It's up to them. If they want to stay here for 10 years, bro, we're not going to do nothing. They'll be here for 10 years. And you can't tell me that right now, as I'm talking to you, Ten Hag is getting the best out of what we have. He has spent 400 million and there isn't a style of play. He is making questionable choices. He is looking like he's out of depth. We are going into games as Manchester United feeling like anybody can touch us. At any other top club, by now, he is gone. We have played, 16, 17 games, and we've been getting progressively worse. We have gotten to a point where bad performances, expecting foolishness is a norm. That is crazy. This guy is good, is not good enough. And right now, we are expecting foolishness as a norm. He is coming out to tell me, after watching rubbish, that we played well. We controlled the half. This makes no sense. And you can't tell me that there isn't better out there just because we have been here before. Bro, we can't trust somebody that isn't showing us anything.
Well, look, I said I don't disagree that we're not playing well. I don't disagree that the style of play isn't there. I do disagree when you said there's better out there, because I think any manager, even Pep Guardiola, the best managers in the world, whoever you want to pick, if they come to this club, they end up in the same situation, the exact same situation. And people can point to Pochettino. Chelsea are 14th at the moment. 14th.
I don't care about Poch or Chelsea. My point is, and the funny
you
thing
did, because you brought him up earlier on.
No, I said as an example. And the funny thing is, because a manager fails at Chelsea doesn't mean he isn't going to be good for us. Look at Tuchel. He failed at PSG, came to Chelsea, won the Champions League in 6 months. The same thing can happen to us. The manager that suits us is probably out there. But we are persistent with Eric Ten Hag.
Then, Charles, can't you look at the other way around, saying just because they're successful elsewhere, i.e. Hansi Flick, they're not going to be successful at Man United?
I never said I wanted Hansi Flick. I said, for example, I could say Hansi Flick is available. What's your argument now? I don't know. I said it's not my job to look out and scout managers. That's the club. We have executives for a reason.
This is the problem, Charles. This is the problem. If you're going to say just get rid of the manager, then and not back it up with who we should replace him with or what your plan would be, then again that's just as bad as United of going, we're just going to get rid of him, and who are you going to replace with? Oh, we don't know. We're just going to get rid of him. There's no planning.
Manchester United should know. That's the point. Any top club has a list of managers. They all do. Look at Brighton. Before Potter left, they already had the Zerbi lined up for time.
Yeah, because that's worst case scenario. Going to poach their managers.
Worst case scenario. Like again, I bring up Eric Ten Hag. He wasn't anybody's first choice, but he just happened to pop up. Somebody
was people's first choice. I think I
mean, like when Oli was first getting calls for the sack, it wasn't Eric Ten Hag on people's lips. It was Poch, it was Nagelsmann, it was all these other people. Ragnick even bloody came in, and we were all like, yeah.
But Oli didn't get sacked at that point. When Ole Gunnar Solskjaer got sacked, he lost his job. Eric Ten Hag was a top choice, and along with Pochettino, they were both in clubs, and it was both very quickly put to them that puts United, we can't leave our clubs to the end of the season. They got an interim.
Yeah, but
you can't rewrite history here and say that he wasn't the top choice, because he was.
What I'm saying is, when Oli was first getting calls for the sack, nobody said Erik ten Hag. It was in the latter stages when we knew this guy was leaving that Erik ten Hag showed up as an opportunity. The first names we heard were Nagelsmann, Pochettino, and the likes. We even had Zidane for some weird reason.
You're rewriting history now.
Erik ten Hag came at the point when
he was first.
Erik ten Hag came when we had Ragnick.
He was first choices for a lot of clubs at the time, because he had interviewed with Spurs earlier on that summer. Well, he did interview with Spurs
about for us, as well. Not other clubs.
But then that's what you do when a manager gets sacked. You then look at who your choice is going to be. You don't. It's such a bizarre argument to say when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was on the verge of getting sacked previously, months prior, he was at the top of the list. That's such a strange situation. Such a strange argument to point.
It's not a strange argument. All I'm saying is Erik ten Hag wasn't on everybody's. Erik ten Hag wasn't on everybody's mind. He asked me who I wanted, and I said I didn't even know Erik ten Hag as an option up until when Oli was getting sacked.
But why would he be an option when Oli wasn't on the verge of getting sacked? That doesn't make any sense.
No, I mean, like, Oli's last weeks when he was surviving, and we all said yes, he's going. Pochettino was the guy for the job in at the beginning of the season when
history. Erik ten Hag was on the minds of a lot of people at that point.
Yes, he was on the mind of other people, but he came in as an option. He
wasn't a second ago. Nah, Charles,
when the season,
you can't just change. You can't. You said a second ago. That he wasn't on the minds of people. Now you just said he is on the minds of people. I don't understand, Charles. I don't understand the logic. I was asking about the game. I was asking about the game as well. I just he was. I remember Pep Guardiola coming out about saying he could replace me at Manchester City. I don't understand that, Charles. I don't. I tried. I really tried. I really tried with that today. I did. I don't like the sin bin. I try and give people the time to voice their opinions, but come on, you got to bring me something. you got to bring me something. You got to bring me actually what happened as well. I just I tried, Charles. I tried. Atom Key says, "Only you didn't let him speak." I think I did. In fairness, I think I did. I really did. But there you go. It's not Charles's job. Okay, not a job. Anyway, guys, be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. Reminder, fan views are on the way. Player ratings are on the way too. What else is on tap tomorrow? I'll be live in the morning. Match Day Reloaded. Full view will be tomorrow as well, 7 p.m. as always on a Sunday. And then we go straight into another week, another match week. And also be sure to join me on my channel for a Crown Jewel watch long. It's going to probably be starting like 10, 15, 20 minutes-ish. So if you haven't already, you can jump on there. You don't have to go anywhere. You'll be redirected there, but you don't have to stay. It's not everyone's cup of tea. Anyway, I'm out of here. Peace.